Muted.
Well, good afternoon. Welcome to the first of 7 webinars regarding the Campaign for Grade Level Reading. I'm Charlotte Webb, Coordinator of Elementary Education in the Office of Early Learning, and I have an office full of colleagues that are here and are going to participate in this webinar as well. Monica Delamay, Executive Director of the Office of Early Learning.
Hello, everybody.
Lisa Ray, Coordinator of Early Learning Assessment and School Readiness.
Hello.
Georgia Hughes Webb, Data Governance Manager.
Hi, everyone.
And Brian Nichols, Coordinator, and they are both from the Office of Research, Accountability, and Data Governance. We're delighted that you all have joined us this afternoon to hear more about the network of support that is in place to support your county campaigns and using that data, specifically data that we can get from ZoomWV, to guide your action plan. As we proceed, you're going to notice that all participants are muted. If you do have questions, though, as we move through this information, just type them in the chat box and we'll stop periodically to answer. Now, my goals for this session are, first, I want to introduce you to those early literacy specialists that comprise that statewide network of support. I'm going to share a draft of the midterm report that will be due in January, provide you some resources to help you complete your midterm report, and then lastly, we'll talk about next steps in the future webinars that are planned. I know that you all are all familiar with this, but as part of the state's 2016 budget, Governor Earl Ray Tomblin and the state legislature allocated that $5.7 million for the Campaign for Grade Level Reading, and 75% of that, of course, came directly to counties. But of that other 25%, the thing we're going to focus on today is that statewide system of support for early learning. So I want to take this opportunity to introduce you to the specialists that will be providing this network of support. The June Harless Center for Rural Education Research and Development, College of Education and Professional Development at Marshall University, they were awarded a grant from the Department of Ed to assist with the implementation of the Campaign for Grade Level Reading. The Harless Center will use this awarded grant money to support each county team in achieving their individual goals pertaining to attendance, school readiness, extended learning, and high-quality instruction. Now, currently, there are 4 literacy specialists that have been hired. There actually are 5 positions that are available, so I'll just remind you again, if you do have any that you feel like would be good, viable candidates for that, please let us know or have them go directly to Marshall's website to apply. But these specialists are going to collaborate with the county grade level reading teams in each county to assist in the implementation of their individualized plans. They're going to be responsible for engaging community partners to permeate a culture of literacy for families and children and provide outreach to assist in professional development and assisting in the collection of data to drive high-quality classroom instruction. Our first specialist is Tracy Komorowski. She's a graduate of Marshall University. You'll notice on her slide and on each of them is a list of the counties to which they've been assigned. Tracy has a Bachelor of Arts in both elementary education and early childhood education, as well as a Master of Arts in literacy education. She is from Fredericksburg, Virginia, but has resided in Cabell County for over a decade now. She's had a variety of educational experiences, ending up in Cabell County schools as a literacy specialist. She comes to us with over 12 years of teaching and leadership experience at both the school and county levels. She serves as a board member for the Cabell County Reading Council, and she's the 2014-15 Central City Elementary Teacher of the Year. She's a member of Phi Kappa Phi Honor Society and has just been inducted into the Delta Kappa Gamma, the Honor Society for Educators. She lives in Huntington with her husband of 6 years and 2 bad cats. Our next specialist is Vicki Smith. Vicki started her career as a second grade classroom teacher in a Greenbrier County public school, Crichton Elementary. And what's interesting is she also attended there as a student. Vicki's a 1995 graduate of Marshall University with a degree in early childhood education, pre-K through 6, and postgraduate studies in reading. Vicki was named Cabell County Public Schools Teacher of the Year and was a recipient of the National Milk and Family Foundation Award and also of the MetLife Fellowship. You may know Vicki. She is also married to Bill Smith, the superintendent of Cabell County, and they have 2 children and 1 grandson. Next we have Nikki Wit. She also is a Marshall graduate with a bachelor's degree in education pre-K to 6, a master's degree in reading education K-12, and a master's degree in elementary education. She has 14 years teaching experience with time spent at a variety of grade levels, pre-K, 1st, 4th through 6th, math remediation, and 7th grade reading. Nikki was born and raised in Cabell County and continues to reside within the county with her husband Joe. Nikki states that she's very excited to be working on this campaign to better serve the children of West Virginia. And then our 4th specialist is Maggie Greene. She holds a bachelor's degree in elementary education with a minor in human development from the University of Maryland, College Park. In 2013, she moved to Huntington, West Virginia to pursue her master's degree in literacy education. She now holds a teaching certificate in New Jersey, Maryland, and West Virginia. She taught pre-K for 1 year in New Jersey before coming to Marshall and working as a graduate assistant and studio educator for the Marshall University Early Education STEM Center. Since working on the campaign, Maggie says she feels even more connected to her new home in the Mountain State, and she's thrilled to help enrich the education of West Virginia's future. So we just want to welcome the 4 of them. At this point, you should have been contacted by your assigned specialist. So if you haven't, for whatever reason, been able to make contact with them, just know that they are in the process of making contact with all their counties. And I really would encourage you just to seek their support as needed. You know, you may not have any particular needs now. You might find that as we start moving into the time of completing those midterm reports. But I will tell you, I've had the opportunity to work with them over the past several weeks, and I've just really been impressed with not only their expertise, but their heart and their passion for this work around the campaign. So I just think it's going to be really exciting for all of us to have them on board to support. Okay, the next slide, as you can see, is about the midterm reports. The midterm reports will be due January 31st, and before we look at a draft of this template, I want to just talk a little bit about this process. I mentioned to you a minute ago about the money that had been allocated to the campaign for grade level reading. And as I'm sure we are all very aware, there's just been a round of statewide budget cuts that has affected everyone's work in a really significant way. The good news is we had a lot of people go to bat for the campaign and the funding around that. Senator Lloyd Jackson, Clayton Birch, Dr. Martirano all made strong arguments about the critical need for this funding to remain. So therefore, at this time, the funding has remained as planned. It was not cut at all. That is such exciting news and encouraging, but in some ways that, for me, it seems to put even a greater responsibility on all of us to demonstrate that we are being really good stewards of that money and that the investment that's being made in the campaign is truly going to make a difference for our children. As the literacy specialist and I looked at the original action plan template, it just became clear that we really hadn't provided enough structure to ensure that valid claims were going to be able to be made for the efficacy of projects and initiatives. The initial template was very open-ended, and for good reason, because we certainly wanted to leave that to your discretion to determine what your needs were and how you wanted to proceed about meeting those needs. But also, consequently from that, we got action plans that varied widely in detail, data, and sustainability. In some plans, although there were really dynamic activities and projects planned, there just wasn't strong evidence that counties were going to be able to show that those were actually making a difference. Now, I want to be really clear about this designation. There is an essential difference in collecting and reporting data about a project or an activity or an initiative versus collecting and reporting data on an overall target or goal. And that was kind of the piece that we felt like was missing in the original template, and why we looked at redesigning this midterm report, hopefully to support that. For example, if as part of your plan you decided to put up billboards to highlight the importance of regular attendance. Now, you might gather data by collecting the number of cars that drive by that area. You could poll families to get a number of people that saw the billboard. You could survey people and community members to see if their attitudes are changing about the importance of regular attendance in the early grades. And all of those are reasonable, just solid ways to collect data. But in the end of the day, you've got to think about what really matters. What was all of that for? And in the big scheme of things, what matters is that more students are attending school regularly, overall attendance rates are increasing, and chronic absences are decreasing. So as we walked through that midterm report, we felt we had been remiss in providing those overarching goals for each of the components of the campaign. So this template's been designed in hope that those targets will be clear while still honoring the activities and projects that you have planned and begun implementing in your county. So we're going to take a look at one section. This is the section for attendance, and as you can see, there are a number of different areas on it that can be used for different purposes. The first section is what I was just talking about. This is where the overall goals and targets are included. Now, on each of the components, these are pre-populated because they're going to be the same for everyone. With attendance, you can see that the goals are to increase overall attendance and decrease chronic absence. When you go to the next section labeled baseline, this is going to be your initial data collected in a particular area. Now, for the attendance part, you can use your last year's attendance data, and we're going to have Brian and Georgia share with us where to get all that information in just a moment. The box labeled targeted outcomes is what your final target is going to be. This is your ultimate goal. Now, most of these targets that you will have or will choose are based on your current data and your ambitious but realistic goals that you have set for your county to achieve by the year 2020. But in this case, with attendance, Dr. Martirano has a statewide attendance campaign, and so that number's been set for us. The target for every county and every school is 95% of real attendance. And all that I mean by that, real attendance, is students are either present or they're absent. So there's no differentiation in terms of whether it's an excused absence or an unexcused. Our hope and our goal is to increase the actual attendance. This part of the template is a recommendation, and we have put this on most all of the goals. This is not a requirement. It generally is based on the recommendations given on the Huddle website or of the national campaign, and it really is just a place for you to start thinking, about what goal is appropriate for your county. One of the topics that came up as we worked on this template was the issue that some county plans hadn't been developed with those overarching goals or targets in mind, but rather counties had chosen really specific projects or activities in which to monitor data, and that's completely valid. I want you to know that's that's perfectly appropriate. And we wanted to honor that work by providing this section to include those projects and activities and the associated information and data. You may not need to have information for every single space, but we just try to think through in categories that we thought you may want or need to include. Now this one's the biggie. I would encourage you to pay close attention to this category of the person responsible for two reasons. One, it's going to be a good indicator of whether or not you have appropriate people at the table. If you find your name showing up in this box the majority of the time, you have missed the purpose of the campaign. Schools can't do it alone, and you can't do it alone. And secondly, if no one has been assigned as the person responsible, you can just about bet that no one will be responsible. There really has to be oversight of those individual projects and activities, just as there has to be oversight of the campaign at large. So with all that being said, let me just emphasize that this template is a work in progress. Our hope is that it's useful in helping you focus your work and attention on what's really going to affect change. And knowing that it's a work in progress, we value your feedback. As you take a look at that template, it will be posted with the recording of this webinar. It will have draft as a watermark because I'm certain that as you look at it and you share your thoughts and recommendations, that it will be revised. So let's move on to the data portion. I'm going to ask Lisa to share with us about school readiness and instruction for pre-K and kindergarten.
Hi, everybody. We're going to talk a little bit about school readiness. Here's what the template looks like now. Your first goal for school readiness is to have a higher percentage of pre-K children entering school scoring at the 2 to 5 range on the ELRS pre-K. That's going to be during your initial reporting period. We're going to have that data available for you by December 1st, and that will be given to the pre-K county contacts, or we will send a note to them letting them know where to find it on the website. So under the baseline, you're going to report that percentage of children scoring the 2 to 5 in all of these areas. One caveat here is if all of your teachers don't register on the ELRS and complete their classroom data entry by November the 6th, you're not going to be able to report accurate information. The next goal is similar, except now we're looking at kindergarten. So on the ELRS, you want to have a higher percentage of kindergarten children entering school scoring at developing, at standard, or above standard on the early learning reporting system. And again, there'll be that section below where you can put your action steps and the strategies that you've utilized. We'll have this report also available on December the 1st for the kindergarten county contacts. Again, if you do not have all of your kindergarten teachers completing their data entry by October the 30th, you're not going to have accurate information. Kindergarten contacts have that report on their ELRS site where they can see the percentage of children in the classroom who have assessments started and who have assessments finalized. When you look at that, you'll see that you've got a lot of people who have started their assessments but haven't finalized. You may want to remind your kindergarten teachers that they've got to have that done this week. Goal 3 is to have a higher percentage of children entering school with completed health information. All of this information is available in WeVis if your school nurses have put that information in. If not, you still have that information, but it's on the student's comprehensive physical forms, the oral health forms, and the immunization records that each child has in their file. I believe that a lot of nurses do put that information into WVUS because it is gathered and reported yearly in the school readiness profile. Under the instruction section, you have a goal to increase the percentage of kindergarten children demonstrating proficiency on the ELRS at the end of the year. We will have that information again by December the 1st to the kindergarten county contacts. And in year one, we're looking for an increase of 5 percentage points over that baseline. And we're going to give you last year's ELRS data for that. Goal 5 is to increase the percentage of pre-K children demonstrating proficiency on the ELRS at that third checkpoint. Again, we're going to be looking at last year's data, the children who scored in that 4 to 5 range. And we will have that information available to pre-K county contacts on December the 1st.
Great, Lisa. Thank you. I'm going to have Monica come and share. We're going to look at the instruction piece next and just share with you about that first and second grade.
Well, thank you, Charlotte. I just wanted to speak very briefly in that we know as a Department of Education, we've been charged with developing a reporting system that gauges a child's emerging proficiency across standards over time up to and including through second grade, because we're looking at that third grade year as being so critical. And so we want to make sure that we're able to have a reporting system in place for pre-K, K1 and 2. So I just wanted to say that we are getting ready to revise Policy 2510, and in that policy we will address the reporting system for grades 1 and 2. A lot of you have asked about that. Also, please note that I have a folder in my email that has the interest of many teachers, principals, counties who've indicated they would like to be part of the pilot for grades 1 and 2. So we will be emailing them, either Lisa or I will be emailing them in the coming month or so to look at who would be interested in potentially helping us with some of those pilots. So I just wanted to say that while we don't have that reporting system yet, that's still the full intent. And Charlotte will get into a little bit more about what you may possibly have at this point in time for instruction. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Monica. Okay, looking at this part of the template, you can see that we've got goals. Lisa just shared with us about pre-K and K, but then we also have goals for third grade, second grade, and first grade as well about the instruction piece, and that it's actually increasing student achievement. And one of the things I would encourage you when you think about those activities that you're including for this is don't forget that the thing that's most closely related to student achievement is your teacher's expertise. We always spend a lot of time and funds on programs and curriculum and instructional materials, and sometimes we overlook what really is critical in helping our students achieve. And that's just a teacher's increase in their own professional practice and expertise. But with these, we've put that increase of 5 percentage points over baseline simply because with our summative assessment, our first year was this past year with a summative assessment, and we want to have one more year under our belts, just seeing how we need to revise the trajectory to get students to the overall goal. So for now, you'll use this past year's as your baseline data for those grades, and for grades 1 and 2. I know counties are using different types of tools, so whatever tool you have in place to determine your students' proficiency, then you'll use that data as well, and again, just aim to increase that by 5 percentage points over the baseline. Okay, and then one last section I'm going to share before I turn it over to the data governance team is this extended day and extended year component. Now, just to be transparent, the national campaign's recommendations center around ameliorating that summer learning loss, and that truly is what we're trying to achieve. But I will tell you that as we looked over the action plans, it became really clear this component was the one that most counties really faced some significant obstacles. I heard from many of you that you couldn't afford to provide opportunities for extended day or extended year learning. So I really didn't feel like it was going to serve any of us well asking you to try to monitor a decrease in summer learning loss when maybe you weren't even at the point of being able to provide support for your students yet. So now, I know that's not true for all counties, but for the majority of counties, the focus really has just been on trying to figure out how to work around not being able to provide those opportunities. So it just seemed like the goal was going to be better suited for us here in West Virginia to begin looking at how to reach more children after school and during the summer. Now, I never want to forget to say that some of you are doing a really brilliant job about overcoming obstacles. I know in Lewis County, when they determined they couldn't provide summer school in the traditional sense, they decided that, even though they couldn't do that, they could take the learning opportunities to the community. They partnered with their local library to take the bookmobile out each week during the summer. They brought in community volunteers that traveled with the bookmobile, and those people did read-alouds, provided parent activities at each stop, and gave families an opportunity to check out books. Some counties chose to use Richard Allington's research that tells us that giving children $50 worth of self-selected books to read over the summer will give greater gains than many summer school programs that can cost thousands of dollars. So a lot of counties took that route, just providing text for children to have. Some other counties engaged with churches in the communities. They had churches that agreed to include a literacy component to their regular, vacation Bible school or summer camp programs. Some churches provided transportation for summer learning activities with their church buses or church vans. Those are really, really cool examples of counties realizing that there are obstacles, but not being willing to let that be the final word. So instead of rehashing the fact they can't afford to provide summer school in a traditional sense, they've continued the conversation by saying we're well aware of what we can't do, but let's figure out what we can do. And then they're making inroads through these obstacles that have previously, seemed insurmountable. That is truly inspirational. And I just want to say again how much I appreciate your work and tenacity in this area. Okay, now I'm going to ask our data governance team, Georgia and Brian, to come share about ZoomWV.
Thank you, Charlotte. We are really excited to have the opportunity to come and talk with you today and talk with you about where to find some data to help as you develop your plans and as you monitor progress towards your goals. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about two key data sources for you, ZoomWV and ZoomWV for Educators, which we call ZoomWVE. Then I'm going to share with you the links for those so that you'll have those handy, and I'll give you our help desk information and contact information for myself and Brian. Should you have any questions, you can contact us and we can help you find the data you need. ZoomWV is our new public reporting site for the Department of Education. If you were familiar at all with the old method of publishing public reports of the data, they were hosted on web pages within the WVDE website, and oftentimes it was hard to find the information you needed. So we've developed ZoomWV as a dashboard-based site to provide information to the public and to our educators. ZoomWV is a public site available for anybody to look at our certified data collection. I know every county has just finished up the October 1st certification, and we thank everybody for their efforts on that. So those are the data that populate the ZoomWV reports. It's updated annually or semi-annually, and it contains no student-level identifying information. We launched this last year, so many of you may be familiar with ZoomWV. This will be the key source for you as you look at your baseline data and your annual progress, because this will be the officially reported data from the State Department of Education. However, as you go through the year, as you're monitoring your efforts and trying to determine whether you need to make adjustments, you can go to ZoomWV for Educators, or ZoomWVE. That is a private portal that is just for West Virginia's educators. Information is available based on role. At the county level, you'll have access to information based on your level of access. So you'll have information about every school and every district, every school and every student in your district. You'll have to log on using your WebTop user ID and WebTop password, or your K-12 email address and your K-12 password. And then we'll authenticate your identity, look at your access permissions, and present to you dashboards that are appropriate for your level of access. The information in ZoomWVE reports directly from the Transactional Student Information System. Every night we pull the data out of WeVis and we update the ZoomWVE site, so it will be current as of yesterday. So that will be really helpful information for you as you monitor your ongoing efforts to help students. And it does contain both aggregate information and student-level information, should you need to look at student-level information based on your role. The two sites have slightly different URLs. The link on the bottom is for the public dashboard. You can also just type in zoomwv.k12.wv.us, and that will take you to the public dashboard and display the official information from the State Department. To get access to ZoomWV for Educators, you will go to the top link, and you'll type that into your browser bar, and that will take you to a web-based portal while you log on. I believe I'll have a minute to show you how to do that and where to find some of the information. So stay tuned a little bit for that. This is our help desk information, and should you need it, I'm sure Charlotte can send it out to you. The address at the top is our help desk. If you have trouble with ZoomWV as you try and log on to the educator portal, please send us a note, let us know, and we'll help you resolve that. And if you have suggestions for other pieces of information that would be helpful for you as you do your work out there in the districts, let us know that too. We want it to be a useful tool for you that provides you the information you need in an easy-to-understand way. Charlotte, I'm going to end the slideshow for just a moment, and I may need help. That's it, right here. All right. I'm going to show you first the ZoomWV public dashboard site so that you'll know where to find your official data. Charlotte has helpfully linked us to the ZoomWV homepage. You can get here from the WVDE website. There's a button that looks much like this right on the front page, and you can click and it'll take you right here. Or you can type in wvde.us/ZoomWV and you'll come here too. So this site actually provides you lots of information about ZoomWV, where it came from and where the data come from, and the answer for that is they come from WeVis, of course. To get to the public dashboard site, you'll just click on this button. And there it goes. Sometimes it takes a minute to load. So you can go to the public dashboard site and take a look across the top for all kinds of different information. We'll look at attendance first. This is still attendance from the 2013-14 school year. We will be uploading the 14-15 data very soon. We've just discovered there are a couple of quirks with the ways we need to load the data, and we want to make sure we don't break anything. For the time being, we can provide Charlotte with a list of district-level attendance rates so that if you have a question, you could contact her. Okay, yeah, I'm volunteering her for this, so she says that's fine. So you can contact her for your baseline attendance rate based on the 2014-15 school year. So keep your eye on this page. It will be updated very soon. To look at your baseline student achievement results at grade 3, you'll go to the state assessment results. And I will let you know that this page was updated as of this morning. So the data presented here are for last year's assessment. So you will have current data. You can take a look quickly here at the overview of the information, and you can select grade 3 with your filter for your specific district. And you can take a look at the proficiency rates in math and reading. So this is for the state level. So our baseline third grade reading proficiency would be 46%, 45.6 or 46%. So that would be the baseline at the state level. Yours will differ based on where you're located, of course. So that will be your official data. We'll update this every year as the new results become available. So those will be the official data to help you monitor your progress towards your goals. On a day-to-day basis, though, as you monitor your work and want to make sure that you're having the effect that you want for your students, it's best to look at ZoomWV for educators to get that current as of yesterday data. So I just replaced a little bit of my URL here with the word educators. And I come to a screen that looks like this. And I type my WebTop user ID, which is, for most people, it's the first part of their email address. Although if you've been an educator for a while, it might be something entirely different. So use your WebTop credentials to log on. And as long as you have access to WOW, if you have a WOW user account, you should be able to access this portal. If you have any trouble logging on, then let us know that. Send us a help desk ticket, and we'll help figure out what's wrong with you. Not with you. I apologize. That sounded wrong. I meant what's wrong with your account. So we'll help you with that. So when you log on, this is the type of information you'll see at the district level. I do want to point out that the attendance year-to-date currently, the way our dashboard calculates it is it's based on the 180-day school year. And that's not accurate. We need it to calculate attendance based on membership days. My colleague Brian Nichols here has been working for several weeks to make sure that all of the information and logic was updated. That's been a much harder task than we thought it was going to be. So we'll be updating that very soon. And we'll also be adding a box right about here for percentage of students who are chronically absent. So you'll have a quick summary for that information as well. For the time being, I'd like you to click on the attendance dashboard, which you can find here. Under the district tab, there are lots of different dashboards you'll have access to, and one of them is attendance. So you can click on that, and you'll get lots of information. Again, this rate right here is based on the 180-day calendar year. So I want you to ignore that for now. However, you can look at past years, and that will be accurate, more or less. So you can kind of take a look at that. If you want to see your current, for today, if you want to see your current year-to-date attendance, click on this related dashboard called Attendance by Time, and you'll see a bar chart that will pop up, and your current attendance rate will be calculated there. For some reason, the two dashboards calculate the information differently, but we've discovered that this dashboard is accurate. So that you will have that, I'm going to type a comment in the comment box so that you'll have a reminder you can copy and paste to let you know where to look for the actual current attendance rate for now. Okay, so I've posted a comment to everybody in attendance so that you can have a little reminder to look for the current attendance rate. Sometimes our attendance dashboards get a little cranky when they load, so I do apologize that the information isn't popping up. Hopefully, in your districts, when you have the time to take a look at the dashboards, you'll be able to access that far more quickly. Thank you again for allowing us to come and talk with you today. And if you have any questions, we're happy to help you through Charlotte or through our help desk.
Thank you so much, Georgia. I appreciate you and Brian. Oops. I appreciate you and Brian sharing with us. Oh boy. Just a second. Let me get us back to where we were. Okay, I'm going to take a few minutes and just see if there are any questions that you might have about anything that we've addressed today during the webinar, whether about the template, the specialist, or ZoomWV. And if so, feel free to just type those into the chat box and we'll be glad to answer them. So as we're waiting for that, we'll go ahead and take a look at the next steps for you to consider as you move forward. First one is to review that midterm report template that we will post to the campaign website. Just take a look at it, that draft that we will post, provide us feedback for revisions. Let us know if you have any thoughts or suggestions about what would make it more useful for you. Determine what pieces of data that you will have, that you already have, or that you may need. And I would encourage you again just to utilize your network of support. Contact your assigned specialists if you have any questions, any needs that they'll be able to help you with. And most of all, send us your bright spots. This is a real area that your specialist can help. If you'll let them know when you're planning activities, they can help you promote it. They can help you with media contacts, or else come in, to take pictures and provide a write-up to be posted on the Bright Spots page. We really want to celebrate your work. And those bright spots also help other counties find solutions to similar problems that they may be facing as well. Okay, I've had a question here. Will you email us a copy of the template? Absolutely, I'll be happy to do that. So I'll send it out to the listserv as well as posting it on the website. Okay, and then the next slide are just the future webinars in this series that are planned. You will also get this by email, but I just always like to give you a reminder about things that are coming up in the future. Any other questions that you have about today? If not, again, as always, just know that if you need help, do not hesitate to let me know. I and the specialists are here to support your work. I just really appreciate you sharing your time with us this afternoon and for the work that you're doing to support your children and families in your county. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.